Hey tea heads, this is Don and Celine from Mayleaf, and it's a very happy day for us because we get to taste two vintage teas. Two vintage Liu Bao HRs. One is from 1988 and the other is from the 1970s. Don't know the exact year, but definitely over 40, close to 50 years old.
That's mad.
Yeah.
That's mad. I'm so excited.
Not every day that you get to taste a 1970s Liu Bao. These are fresh in stock, or fresh as these vintages can be,
Yeah.
but very, very small batch. In fact, do you want to show them how much of the 70s we've got?
Yeah, I was like, oh, we have quite a lot of those. And Don's like, no, that's it.
That's it.
That's the tea.
That's the
batch.
1970s. We got a little bit more of the 1980s. This is Liu Bao. For those of you who don't know, I've just done a video about Liu Bao tea, comparing it with ripe pu'er tea. Go check out that video. But a quick recap, these fall under the category of HR, which is often called dark tea or post-fermented tea in the West, even though the actual translation is black tea, but then that would cause confusion with the other black tea. So this is HR, which means that it needs to go through some sort of fermentation phase. And Liu Bao teas from the 1960s onwards started to ferment their teas using a piling method, so similar to ripe pu'er, albeit slightly different because they have different tradition there, and generally they use less water. They pile for a lower pile, so it's less of a fermented tea. But that started in the 60s.
Right.
However, I am being told by the producers of the 1988 tea that this is being produced in the more traditional style, which is the double steaming style, or you could call it triple steaming. Basically, it goes through a steaming phase to de-enzyme the leaf.
Okay.
So similar to sencha, green tea. So they steam it to de-enzyme it. Then they steam it again to put it in, to compress it into these boxes that they then leave to ferment.
Okay.
And I'm not quite sure exactly about the time scale, but they were talking about days. So nothing like, a month, which is the ripe pu'er.
Right.
And then afterwards, then the tea is then taken out, steamed again, triple steamed, and compressed into baskets.
I see.
Right.
So it was compressed into this.
Compressed into baskets, and then the baskets are left to then age. So you're adding moisture at least 3 times to the leaf and then leaving it to ferment and age.
So the enzymes do their little thing.
The microorganisms do their little thing and they transform the tea. And so therefore, with this style of fermentation, it's a little bit closer to sort of a hybrid between ripe pu'er, like that, the piling process, and raw pu'er, because it's sort of left to age and ferment naturally to a point, but they are adding moisture along the way, during the initial phase of it. So this is a triple steamed processing, which the producer calls double steamed method, but it's actually 3 steaming processes. This one here was purchased from a collector. We do not know how this one was produced.
Oh, I see.
Right? But it's going to be either going through a very light piling phase, or it's going to be having the same methodology as this one here. So most probably it is a double steamed, triple steamed method.
Oh la la.
We can quickly scope these teas. Season spring 2000. I'm so used to saying 2000.
I was going to say.
Spring 1988 versus spring sometimes in the 70s. The cultivar is the original heirloom Chuntijong variety from Guangxi. Most Liu Bao now is being the tea that's the variety that's being used is the Daiyezhong, so similar to pu'er, but like the Guangxi Daiyezhong. This supposedly is an older heirloom variety, I'm being told. The origin is from Wenzhou in Guangxi in China, and the picking and processing we've just talked about is going to be buds, young leaves, probably some coarser leaves. You can see it's quite hard to tell now with the age. It's sort of broken up a little bit.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks quite broken up.
Yeah. And the elevation in this area is around 1,000 to 1,500 meters.
Oh,
you excited? Are you ready? So we're going to taste test a 1988 versus a 1970s. Go ahead, warm up those go ones.
Oh yeah, it's actually quite hot, the water, but I just wanted to bring it up to 100 degrees.
Yeah, let's bring it up.
Oh, as much as it goes once you
We're
pour.
going to go straight into these.
Oh, like a whiskey.
Yeah, like a whiskey. This is lead free for those of you wondering. So
Why?
well, because if it's a lead crystal, then it could potentially, with hot liquids, leach out some lead. The color difference on the look of these leaves, clearly more broken. The 70s looks a bit sort of more matte.
Yeah.
And a little bit older.
Yeah.
And the colour is similar, but a little bit less vibrant in the 70s one, a little bit redder.
I was going to say more mahogany, kind of redder. Yeah.
Yeah, a bit more of those redder tones.
Yeah.
All right, let's treat both of these. It's funny, it's like you sort of think, oh, this is let's the 1980s one first, because that's a lesser.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
it's 1980s.
It's 1980s tea. So this is by itself a big treat. There you go, have a sniff.
Thank you.
1988, a year before your birth. This is your conception tea.
Oh my gosh, even more special. Thanks, Mum and Dad. This tea, oh my gosh. Wow, it's like really nutty, but there's something else to it that's like kind of funky.
Yeah.
What is that?
It reminds me of hazelnuts.
Yeah.
Very, very distinct hazelnuts. And oftentimes
Definitely
with Liu Bao, people talk about betel nuts, betel nuts, you know.
Oh, that stuff that they like to chew on in China, which is like gets you high or something.
And stains you, yeah. And it's got that very nutty note, but there is definitely a funk to it as well. And the funk is a very sort of aged, slightly savoury funk to it.
Yes! Almost like animalistic, but not in a bad way.
No, in a get your attention way.
Yeah. It's like
you know, it reminds me of like a really good aged like light cheese.
Oh
you
my
know?
gosh, yes. Cheese.
Not like a blue cheese or anything like that. It's more like a Gouda.
Oh yeah.
You know, like an aged Gouda.
You're a genius at this smelling note thing. It's exactly that.
Aged Gouda and
hazelnut.
And hazelnuts.
Hazelnut.
A whole platter of nuts, Brazil nuts, hazelnuts, you know, with some aged cheese, but I don't want that to be off-putting to
it's
people.
more hazelnut and Brazil nuts than the cheese. But there's like that underlying little, like the cheese is somewhere in the background there, you know?
Oh, it's really engaging.
I mean, for me, it's like, give it to me.
Yeah,
like, let me
it.
taste it. Yeah.
Okay.
Eat it.
Actually, put some more hot water in here, just because this has cooled down. We've got to give the 70s one its due.
Yeah, man. Needs to give it like its full potential.
But that is a really, really, really interesting smell. I really like it. Okay, ready?
I feel like this is, I say that in every video, but I haven't smelled anything like that either. Whoa, okay. Totally different.
Yeah.
So much for me, like instant note is, let me just double check. Yeah. Milk chocolate. Like
milk chocolate.
Like heating up some milk.
Oh yeah.
You're putting some cocoa in
with
it.
Hazelnuts. Hazelnut milk chocolate.
Oh yeah, that's good. But like that milk chocolate smell.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, very, very, very chocolatey. But
okay, that one's chocolatey. Right up my alley. That's like...
Wow. Have another smell.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And again, that nuttiness is really predominant, right? That betel nut, hazelnuts, Brazil nuts.
Yes.
But more in the sort of chocolate note.
Now that it's like it's evaporating a bit, there's more of the nuts coming through. But the initial hit for me was instantly like chocolate milk drink.
Yeah. Soy milk as well, maybe. Like a malted soy milk.
I'm quite addicted to that smell. I feel like this one's gonna like spike up my taste buds.
Yeah, it's got a more salty note to it.
Yeah, this is like your starter. No, your aperitif.
Yeah.
And this is your dessert.
Yeah, this is your salted nuts and cheese. And this is your...
I'm excited. Okay.
Your nut milks and chocolate.
Yeah.
Okay,
exactly.
let's rinse just the 80s one first.
Yeah, let's give it some precious time.
First time it's touched water
Oh my gosh.
since the 80s.
Wow.
This was amazing to me that's been dry,
I'm
waiting
like,
for this moment.
Yes.
For,
I'm actually like
for
shocked.
over 30 years. Okay.
So that collector let you buy some of this one.
Go for it.
Man, look at that color. It looks like orange wine. Is it orange wine?
Yeah, it does. Look, there's raw wines.
Yeah. Okay. Ready.
How's that cheese coming on?
Honestly, it's dissipated.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn.
It's like quite shocking how now I'm getting so much nut, but like it's like a fruity note. Oh my god, it smells so good. It's like, it reminds me of a really good ripe puer now, you know?
Okay.
It's got like
Yeah.
yeah, it's got like a Frangelico thing going on.
Yeah.
And I love Frangelico. But yeah,
that's hazelnut, isn't it, Frangelico?
Yeah, hazelnut liqueur. But there's something else. It's like...
Yeah, it's got that dried fruitiness to it. Dried fruits like...
raisins?
I want to say like dried cranberries.
Oh my gosh.
So a little bit more acidic.
Yeah,
dried
true.
cranberries, dried... yeah, red fruits more. Maybe even a little touch of maraschino cherry.
Yeah,
like a little bit of candied cherry in there.
Yeah, true.
So it's got that sort of fruit and nut cake sort of note to it.
Oh.
And I can still pick up that aged Gouda smell.
Really?
Yeah, I can. But it's more turned into yeah, it's lighter. I want to say it's sort of in between that and like a cream cheese frosting. Sort of
okay. Yeah.
Sort of moved into that sort of area, so it's less strong, but it's still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still there, and that really gives it a warmth and a roundness to the smell.
Ah, it's got so much warmth to it, considering there's a lot of those like citrusy fruits that you were saying.
I wouldn't say citrus, but berry,
like cranberries, quite.
Yeah, but like acidic, but not citrus.
Yeah, okay, acidic.
I mean, it's still predominantly sweet. Look at the color of that.
It's very
They've gone
sweet.
sort of almost like blue purple color.
Oh, yeah. I was gonna say jet black, but it's not. It's much more.
It's so black that it's gone a little bit purpley. You know, that kind of thing. Okay, let's rinse.
Oh my gosh!
The
I didn't
70s.
them at the same time. Okay.
Let's go through the stages together at least.
Yeah.
First time since the 70s.
Definitely more broken leaf in that one.
Yeah. I want to try and do as small aperture as possible on this guy one, so that we don't lose any of those leaves. So this is going to take a little bit of time.
Tea talk.
Okay.
That's a darker. That's a darker.
It is
hue
darker,
for
definitely.
The rinse compared
Definitely
to that
darker. Okay, go for it.
Okay. I feel very lucky right now, guys.
Okay, a little bit of a slight alcoholic spice.
This is mad. Okay, so different from the smell of the dry leaf to the smell of the wet leaf. This is so complex. Like, it has a herbaceous note to, like a Chinese herbaceous note to it.
Yeah. It's like being in the streets of Hong Kong.
Yeah. But then I still get this kind of dessert, like...
Yeah, you know what that dessert is?
What?
Oh my god, it's so clear to me. It's that lotus seed pudding. What is it? It's like with a syrup, like lotus seed and syrup pudding.
Yeah.
You know those sort of those grain and
they put like that white
fungus
in it. It's delicious.
Yeah, it's
so
that.
Good. Yeah, it's 100%
I still get milk chocolate. Oh my gosh.
He's not going to let it go now. It's like, I am keeping that guy one. That's proper like Asian childhood.
Like I want to think all these things. What is in that? It's like got.
It's also got brownie to it, no?
Yeah, a little
like
bit.
The
chocolate's
brownie?
still there, but I'm getting lotus seeds and. Is it like water chestnuts are in that? And beans, like sweet.
Oh my god,
beans.
red beans?
Red beans.
Red beans.
All of those things, but sweetened, very, very sweet.
There's a hint of Angelica to it, but it's a hint because I'm not keen on like strong Angelica taste. But that hint is like when you put it in the Chinese like soup.
It's surprisingly light in terms of its aromatics.
Yeah.
This one I would say is
much more like
deeper.
Yeah, deeper, heavier.
Ooh,
more desserty. Well, this is also dessert, but like a different kind of dessert.
That's changing as well. That's getting a little bit spicier in its nose. A little bit more. What are you getting?
I'm getting a bit more of the cheese coming through.
Yeah.
Again.
The spice and there's sort of camphor notes to it. A little bit there, not really camphor actually. It's like a.
Pine? No.
It's more resinous, yeah. It's definitely more resinous, but it's deep, like...
Frankincense?
Maybe.
Oh, it's a hard one to pinpoint.
Maybe a bit more in that territory.
Maybe
like
it's a mix.
Those sort of ambers. Yeah. Sweet, but deep.
Sweet. Maybe there's even a bit of cassia?
Yeah.
You know, like not the sweet cinnamon, but the other type?
Yeah, yeah. Whereas this one, ironically or strangely enough, older, but has a more like milky, bright, like lighter, syrupy note happening to it.
It's amazing how bright it is in comparison to the other one.
Isn't it? This is like really sort of deep.
And it's 100% that dessert. If you've ever tried that dessert
called? I don't know. Anyway, I'm sure a lot of you know it out there.
Man, that's shocking. Wow. Wow. Okay. Can we taste now?
Oh my gosh. We didn't mix them up, did we?
Let me smell it. Just.
That looks more broken leaf to me.
Maybe
I think we did mix them up. I think we did.
I think this is this one.
That we did. You'd have to play back
Do I have anything in my nose?
You've got a little Liu Bao moustache. Okay.
I don't mind that.
Is the water hot?
Oh shoot.
No. Filibuster time. Look at the colour of the leaves though.
Filibuster time. I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, filibuster. Takes some time, but look at they both are very, very dark. Darker, I would say, than a lot of the ripe pu'ers. It's got more of a sort of purple tinge to it.
True.
Than a lot of ripe pu'ers.
I would have to say that it does look like this one's darker weirdly.
But that's not so weird because the ancient way of making, or the older way of making Liu Bao, was focusing on a lighter ferment. So it might not be that weird. Okay, let's just do one at a time.
Okay.
1988.
You're counting?
Liu Bao. I don't. Just instincts. All instinct.
Okay. Your instinct, not mine then.
Yeah,
Let's
go.
just choose one instinct at a time.
Okay. And let's put this 1970s one over here.
Yeah.
To just sit and wait patiently.
Precious leaves. Oh, I'm equally excited about both.
Yeah, so am I.
So that's good.
Well, I've tried these before.
Yeah, no, I know. You would have bought them if you went into them.
Ooh, colour of the liquor.
Okay.
Is a little bit more of that sort of nutty look to it.
Yep. It's more like
chestnutty.
An oolong kind of like colour. Like a roasted oolong.
Like a yencha, yeah.
Like a
It's a
yencha.
little bit more in that territory. Definitely looks old. It's sort of got more of a sort of aged port. Sort of got a bit more of a sort of maybe muted colours. A little bit more sort of oxidized looking.
Not like a bright red that you get from like young wines.
Yeah. Okay.
It's basically like a caramel syrup.
Yeah, but like or an oxidized sort of port, or that kind of look to it. All right.
Cheers, everybody.
1988.
That is genius. Very thick mouthfeel, like it's nice and coating. It's delicious. It's got like still got those nuts, like hazelnut coming through, but it's got even like a bit of a, I want to say like those caramel yogurts that I always bring up, which has like a custard caramel yogurt thing going on.
Creme caramel?
Yeah.
It's not yogurt.
Is it not?
No.
What is it?
It's like cream, it's not yogurt.
In my head, it's like, if it's in a pot.
You imagine it's like a set yogurt. No, it's not
it's
yogurt.
It's a set yogurt.
So it's very soft and smooth and velvety and luxurious. It's definitely got lots of nuts happening there.
Oh my god.
Hazelnut syrups, hazelnut liqueurs, those kinds of things.
That's such a great aperitif tea with some cheese. I bet that would work really well.
Yeah. And the reason I just went ooh is because afterwards, actually in the mouth, it's very fresh afterwards. After you've swallowed, it has a very fresh, quite floral, quite cooling, bright sense in the mouth.
Yeah, it reminds me of, like, when you said flower note, it reminds me of lilies.
Yeah, like a very sweet, light, flowery, although lilies are quite heavy, but like that's, a sweet flowery note in the mouth. Very surprising considering the fact that it has that sort of dark note to it. Let's hit it again.
Yeah.
And then you can smell the empty
cup
whilst we got that lovely whiskey cup, which really concentrates the aroma in there, so it's pretty strong.
Ooh, that's got like it reminds me of a malt loaf.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so that
like sweet but nutty, warm.
So again, like a dried fruits and like dried raisins. Yeah, it's warmer. It's more in the dried raisins and malts. Yeah, malt loaf is a pretty good one. Let's see what the second infusion is like. A little bit more vibrant, the liquor in this one. It's still got that aged look, but it's starting to sort of come alive a little bit.
It's a little bit more pop red. That's really surprising, no? Should it do that?
Well, I guess the first infusion, you're sort of like just sort of getting the age out of it a little bit, and you're starting to see the clarity of the liquor. Right, let's give the second infusion a taste. I like to sniff at the same time.
Sniff at the same time?
Well, because you got that nose in that cup is really, really great. The glass just sort of concentrates the aroma. Same sort of Brazil nuts, hazelnuts, sort of fruit cake, cranberries. I'm not picking up that aged Gouda. Taste.
I was going to say it's not there anymore.
But there's a sort of roundness to it, which sort of reminds me a little. It's sort of got a sort of an oiliness and a silkiness and a roundness to the taste. It's not really creamy, but it's like rounded. Take a look at these leaves. I mean, they're just starting to open up, really. You're going to get many, many, many infusions out of this, but we need to move on to the 70s, but it's very dark.
How many infusions did you have last time when you...
Oh, I just kept going until it was pretty much just sort of like a very light brown water. I mean, I probably had about 20 or 30 infusions. I really wanted to max out. Yeah,
really?
No, I was at my desk, so I just kept on drinking. But yeah, I mean, it's got a lot of life to it, and it's definitely a very deep colour still.
Well, that's good to know. We can keep it going all night then.
Yeah, well, this is going to be a long session. Okay, go for it.
Alrighty.
1970s, a bit more.
Oh. You like to burn your fingers. You're a bit
It's
weird
not
like
burning
that.
fingers. We put the right amount of leaf in for it to be right to the rim. Look, see?
Yeah,
Perfect
okay, it's
to the
not
rim.
bad. Yeah, no, it's not bad.
Okay.
I cut my fingers, you know. I'm a bit more scaredy cat about lots of water and go ones.
Ooh, look at that. That is deep. That's a deeper colour.
That looks so much like a ripe puer.
Like which one?
Like after party enchanter-esque.
Yeah, dark.
You
a
know?
dark one. That looks very dark. Right? It's
Yeah.
still got a nice sort of red colour coming through, but
Yeah,
it looks...
and it's not a super bright, vibrant red still.
Yeah. It's still got a really aged look about it, and the smell coming off it is very, very intense. Okay, give it a taste. 1970s, nearly 50-year-old Liubao. Texture first. Focus on texture. Yeah, that's the one problem with these whiskey glasses, is that they keep the heat because you've got a large amount of liquor.
Oh yeah, it's really oily.
It's really oily.
Like it stays on your mouth.
Oh yeah, it's very, very soft and
Yeah.
yeah, like oily. Like it feels like it's sort of...
It's a light oil, you know. It's not like it's not sticky on your tongue. It's just, what kind of oil would that be? Would that be an olive oil?
I don't know, but it's oily.
Yeah.
Taste.
Wow, the smell is strong already
yeah, it's
on the
a
nose.
potent. It's definitely a very potent aroma. Really, really strong.
Oh, it smells so good. Like that smells really sweet.
It's like cinnamon and
Muscovado.
yeah,
sugar.
like dark sugars, cinnamon.
I love Muscovado.
Carob.
Put it in everything. Yeah, carob.
Yeah, very much.
I know it's weird for me to smell it through liquor, but it's just because it's coated around the sides, I think, that I'm getting so much. Anyways, it's really good.
Thanks. You want to tell us what the taste
I
is like?
stopped myself last time with this one. I was like, here you go, have
tell
some
us what
more.
the taste is like, so I brew some more.
Ah, you know what I get? I love the cinnamon note that you were talking about.
Yeah.
But
I'm
like...
getting it in my mouth. Very cinnamon heavy. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Toasted coconut.
Yeah.
It's like that sweet,
Like
but like...
But a caramel, like a coconut caramel.
Yeah.
Cinnamon.
Yeah.
What else? Chocolates?
I still
There's
get a
some
bit of carob. Even I don't know if it's because of the smell that we were talking about, but it tastes.
And I sort of associate
like
carob to be quite similar to betel nut for some reason.
True, me too.
Maybe
Weirdly.
I'm wrong, but I sort of associate them pretty similar.
No, so do I. Yeah.
So, betel nut carob.
Yeah.
Some chocolate, cinnamon,
a bit of coconut.
coconut, muscovado sugar, caramel.
Okay, muscovado sugar is like just on top of it all. It really comes through a lot, actually.
Thick, oily, lubricating, soft. Definitely you can sense the age on it just in terms of the mouthfeel. It has a really interesting vaporous rising energy as well. You said it was sort of, it's that kind of got that very up sort of, but that's just the vaporousness of it. It feels like it concentrates all of the aromatics, all of the smell and that sort of nutty, chocolatey, sugary note just stays in the nose.
I literally visualized as you were talking those thins, you know those almond thins, but not almond. If you imagine like toasted coconut flakes with a chocolate base.
Oh, you've just created a new biscuit.
Yeah.
An almond thin with a chocolate base and coconut on top.
No, as in it's not almond inside. It's like coconut,
so
like
a dark coconut biscuit with chocolate. Yeah.
That's how it tastes. Yeah.
It's very, very smooth. I can't get over the sense of how it hangs around in your nose. It hangs around up here. Do you know what I mean? It reminds me of those yenchas, those rock rhyme yenchas, with really vaporous. It's sort of like a little bit heady. Yeah. It's a bit too much. It sort of like rises and it's just whoa. It's so sort of nutty and cinnamon
and betel nut.
Yeah,
I get full on betel nut now,
which we think is similar to carob.
Yeah.
Maybe a little. We have to have a few more betel nuts. Is it betel nut or betel nut? I don't know. We have to have a few.
I
more
like the
of
idea
those.
of betel nut for some reason, so I'm gonna go betel nut. Yeah, it's all up there now. Now that you said that, like,
it hangs around.
Oh my gosh.
It hangs around like an amazing smell.
Yeah. Yes.
It sort of like just stays like it's like a little fog of amazing smells.
That's a great winter tea too, isn't it?
Yeah. Finish? What's the finish like?
It just coats your mouth. Like, I don't even feel like I need to keep going because I feel like, oh, it's still there.
Yeah.
It's like
you could literally, it's very efficient. You could drink one cup and then leave it for half an hour. You'll just be having that. So
it's like forever breath freshness.
Yeah, and it is quite fresh. It's got it doesn't have that floral lily note that the 80's one had.
Yeah.
This is more, I would say, spice. It's got a little bit more cinnamon note going. It's got this sort of Brazil nut sweetness. It's like a syrup, like a nut syrup sweetness going on in the mouth. Very soft, very lubricating, very oily, very persistent. Juiciness is again like a nut syrup sweetness on the sides of the tongue.
I was thinking that actually the bright note is more like the vaporousness that happens at the top.
It's like a rising.
Yeah.
Ooh, cinnamon again coming through.
Oh my god, and muscovado sugar.
Yeah. Dark sugars
like both
and cinnamons.
of those put together.
Oh my god, it is dark sugar and cinnamon.
Oh, can we have that in the house? I'm smelling that. You know what I mean? You just want...
It's an expensive room fragrance. You have to brew 70's. Imagine how rich you'd be if it's like you said, yes, every morning we must brew up a vat of 70's Liu Bao.
That's a good excuse to have it all the time in the house. Like, but you couldn't because you want to have that batch. Like, that's it.
That's why you'd have to be some rich Malaysian who stored like 1970's tea for a while. Okay, let's heat the water up.
I'm terrible at heating up the water, aren't I?
Well, you know, it's a problem with kettles is that they lose temperature.
True.
Review incoming on to potentially resolve that issue.
Yeah. We will say no more.
No, because that review's not quite been sewn up yet. We'll see.
Very far from.
No, actually.
Is it?
They've written to me, so. Okay. Here we go.
Which one are we doing?
Both.
Oh,
we're going to do
moly.
back to back.
Okay.
Don't burn me.
Oh, sorry.
Enthusiastic pour.
Yeah.
Okay, go. So our initial sort of tastings on the first couple of infusions are the 80's has more of that dried fruit, malt loaf, raisin, cranberry, nut loaf, etc.
Yeah.
Right? And the 1970's is more
chocolate,
cinnamons, coconuts, caramels, muscovado sugars.
Yeah. I'm quite excited to drink them next to each other. I love doing like side by side tasting.
Yeah, this is going to be nice and revealing, and we can see the difference in the colour.
Getting to know the tea like that way is so interesting.
Yeah, it's also pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Colour of liquor difference.
Happening.
Well, you can see how
instant
the thickness of that, just the way that it reacts, it just looks more viscous.
Yeah.
Let's bring those to the camera.
These teas are crazy, aren't they? These teas are crazy because they just keep revealing things that you don't think you're gonna see from them. It's not focused.
Is it not focused?
No, it's not focused. It's good exercise for my legs.
The 80's is definitely lighter.
That's the 80's.
Yeah, it's a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
than the 70s.
70s,
but they're both pretty similar color.
Yeah.
No?
They're quite similar, yeah.
Okay. 80s first.
Yeah.
Yeah. More refreshing, more fruity, more the sweetness is more of a sort of jammy sweetness, a fruitier sweetness.
Ooh.
Nuts are there. It's very good balance of nuts and fruit, and the slight roundedness of that sort of cream cheese frosting there in the background. Texture is sort of a medium to thick texture.
Oh yeah, I get butteriness now.
Yeah, you're picking up more of the cream note in it.
It's good you started drinking, because I feel like this is going to make me forget to pass it back to you.
What? You always forget to pass it back to me.
Doesn't matter what you...
So I'm moving on to the 70s. I'd like to do this direct back to back.
Oh, right. Just one more little sip.
So what I would imagine betel or betel nut to be like, from my recollection, that is very, very strong in this. Very, very strong.
Yeah, sorry. No, I'm just enjoying it.
Okay.
It's really
yeah, really, really caroby, chocolatey, cinnamony. So much oilier as well.
Oh my gosh, smell this. It has like a grenadine thing in the back.
Like a black currant.
Yes. Like a black currant jam.
Definitely fruitier.
Definitely fruitier.
Spicier, nuttier. Cheers. That would be sort of the headline.
Oh,
and definitely oilier. Very, very oily. I mean, remarkably oily.
Like, this is definitely the oiliest.
Of
is it the
teas.
Oiliest tea that I've had?
It's pretty
I think
oily.
It is.
It's very, very slippery in the mouth.
Yeah. It kind of makes sense why the scent is so strong, you know?
Oils feel like they carry more of that aroma. This is much more refreshing.
Oh, that's so interesting.
It's still a deep, dark tea, but it has more of a sort of refreshing, floral sweetness afterwards. That is just oily and vaporous. Yeah. All right, body sensation.
I was going to say, I feel quite relaxed. Like nice. Like I just feel good. Like happy, good, relaxed.
Yeah. I feel a slight sense of a giggliness sort of starting to develop.
Oh, really?
We can't tell which one is which. In terms of that, we'll have to taste them separately to sort of give you more accurate body sensation. But for sure, they have a settled, slightly sort of woozy, a little bit woozy, but you know, generally settled, happy, relaxed, a little bit giggly.
Yeah.
Wowzers. Luxury tasting.
What have you done? Why did you do that?
Because I want to smell the empties.
Oh, okay. But like, I could have drank that. It's like every drop of oil that's like precious oil. You just poured it down.
Yeah, fruity malt loaf, muscovado sugar, and betel nut, and cinnamon. Amazing, amazing teas. Liu Bao. I mean, if you've not tried a Liu Bao, I highly recommend that you start to dive into Liu Bao. I think Liu Baos are really, really accessible, but quite, you know, complex. So, you know, pu'er teas, if anything, ripe pu'er teas are, I would say, less accessible.
I agree.
Than Liu Baos.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
But that doesn't mean that Liu Baos are simple in any way. They're just as complex. It's just
very complex.
The palette of flavors, I would say, are more universal.
Yeah.
Whereas ripe pu'er can sometimes be a bit sort of, you know.
It's like almost way more into the fermented side.
Which one? The ripe?
The ripe pu'er. Yeah. Whereas like, this type of tea is a little bit brighter.
Yeah.
In some compared to the ripe. You know.
I would say it's just because ripe pu'er has a tendency to have more of a deeper ferment, you can get more funk in it. I've never tasted a Liu Bao which I found was sort of like jarring in any way. The only criticism that you could have with Liu Bao sometimes with certain Liu Baos is that they're a little bit watery.
I was just gonna say that because when we tried that sample a few days ago, it was also old Liu Bao, and we were quite excited.
Yeah.
But when we tasted it, for me, it was just like, oh, it just goes too fast. Like it feels like too watery.
It's too watery. It's too light.
But the flavors are always nice. It's just a bit watery.
Yeah. So Liu Bao is definitely a style of tea to explore. And if you feel like you don't like HR because you've tasted some ripe pu'ers, I still really highly recommend that you try some HR, some Liu Bao. We've got 2019 Liu Bao, which is super affordable. You know, it really is amazingly affordable Liu Bao. Grab a pack of that just to see how you get on with the flavor profile. Of course, if you want to dip into the absolute luxury, you've got a 1988 Liu Bao and a 1970s Liu Bao for you to experience.
That was an interesting tasting.
Then it's not going to stop. And don't forget, this is all that we've got, right, of the 1970s. So act quickly if you want it.
It's all mine. Forget it, guys. Like, I'm not giving it away.
We actually haven't dipped into this. We've got to save some of this for our own private collection.
Oh my god, okay. I'm measuring the amount out.
Okay, so it's going to be even smaller than this amount. But hopefully, depending on how generous Celine is, you'll have maybe about this much left over.
Yeah, just 10.
That's it, tea heads. Check out our other videos. Taste our teas wherever you are in the world by browsing mayleaf.com and come visit us if you're ever in London. Other than that, this is Celine and I'm Don from Mayleaf. Thank you for being a part of the revelation of true tea. Stay away from those tea bags. Keep drinking the good stuff and spread the word because nobody deserves bad tea. Bye.